All right, welcome back. In this video, I want to quickly talk about the time complexity improvement we get by memoizing our solution. As we saw earlier, the non-memoized version, the plain recursion solution, is terrible. Exponential time complexity, 2 to the nth power, roughly. And that stems from the fact that we're calculating these values over and over and over, and our memoized version does not do that. So this represents the tree of our memoized version, but I'm going to walk through how many times we actually calculate a value versus look it up. Because remember, to look a value up in an array is constant time. We're storing things under their index. So Fibonacci of 10, we store at the 10th index. The 50th number is stored at the 50th index. So to look up something based off of its index is constant time. O of 1, it doesn't really make a difference when we're talking about on the grand scheme of things. So when, let's say we're doing fib of 7, as we see here, n is 7, how many times roughly are we going to have to do a big calculation? Well, we have to figure out fib of 6, and we have to figure out fib of 5 and 4 and 3, each of those one time. And then 2 and 1 we're not going to really include because those are constant time. We just have a simple if statement, return 1 if n is 1 or 2. But now, every other time we reference fib of 3 or fib of 4, fib of 5 over here, we don't have to do any of this anymore. It's all sort of a giant X goes through it. We just look up the corresponding value in our memo, the array, which is constant time. So to simplify all of this, we would say that roughly as n grows, the time that it takes for our algorithm grows in proportion with n, O of n. Now, of course, remember that's a generalization. It's not exactly n. We don't always do 7 calculations or 10 calculations if n is 10. We're just saying it roughly grows linearly in line with n. And if we take a look at the graph that we were looking at earlier from the Big O cheat sheet website, this is what we were working with here. Very bad, very steep. This is O of n, a huge improvement. And as I showed you a couple videos ago, if we try the non-memoized version, this is going to take forever. Let's see, let's do something slow, like let's do fib of 35 maybe. Okay, well that wasn't too bad. Let's do fib of 40, it's going to take quite a while. All right, so that was like a second or two. And we do fib of 45, and just that little difference of 5 digits or 5 numbers in the sequence really adds a lot of time because we're talking about this exponential chart. It's a lot more work. All right, there we go. And now if we compare it to the memoized version, which I just executed, we don't need that console.log. I'm going to do fib of 45. There we go. We get it right away. We could do fib of 100. But then we run up against the issue of making numbers that are getting so large that eventually we're going to have some inaccuracies in JavaScript. Anyway, so it's a huge improvement. Definitely worth it, and it's not that much work, right, to remember what we've already calculated and just look it up if it's already there. It's only a couple more lines compared to the original solution, but a huge difference in complexity, time complexity.